the misty fog-looking ones that were all black.
Well, and you also saw actual people there.
Yeah, but when I saw the Grim Reaper ones, they all had the scythes. Is that what they're called? Scythe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They all had those. There were three of them. One in this corner,
Wow.
one right in front of the door, and then one in this corner. And that was when I lived at the apartment. And I saw that, and every time they would all three come at me at the same time. There were three or four. There were two. No, there were four. Two in front of the door, and then like on the other side, I believe. And they all would come at me at the same time, and they would all slam those down into my legs. And then I would wake up in the morning, and my legs would hurt, and I would have cramps in my legs. And then finally,
I think that you had a lot going on at that time, and you were fighting a lot of demons at that time.
No, I wasn't. Not at that time. That was back in like 2012.
Yeah, I know, but you were going through some things.
I really don't know what I was, but what I'm saying is I kept having the dream over and over for 5 days, and finally, when I finally ended the dream, was I got up and started fighting against them, and I ran out the patio door, and it was nighttime in all the dream. It was all nighttime, and when I opened that door and ran outside and shut it behind me, it was daylight. It was like morning, and I never had the dream again.
Interesting. That's really interesting. I didn't even know about those.
Yeah, he had told me about that. Chris, I don't know, he may have told you.
I think it means you're cray-cray, Max.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sorry.
But no,
I love you, dude.
If you look up things like that with like demonic spirits and having things like that, those are some of the dreams you can have. Is they keep their reoccurring dreams. It's the exact same thing.
Vivid.
You have to finish it.
Yeah,
they're vivid, and you see like death in them, all that stuff. And those are signs of things like that. And I was studying a little bit on demonology at the time then too, but not too much.
Yeah,
I didn't really
remember
start looking into a lot of it until about 2013.
Yeah. Yep. But I think you were being harassed. I really do.
Well, speaking of death, the last one.
Wait, before we go forward. But Max, you also got some weird phone calls. Speaking of the whole demonology thing, weird phone calls that didn't really sound right, and that was asking you, "Are you a demonologist?"
Yeah, I got one of those a few months ago, and it would sound like a little girl.
And I think
What?
Yeah, it was like a little girl.
I think him and Dustin both got those calls.
Dustin got some weird calls too, and then I got another call not too long after that, and it was a guy, and I talked to that guy for like 20 minutes, and I told him that we would talk again, and supposed to hear back from him, but I never did. And then the number disappeared in my phone. And also
that's
with
weird.
Also with the call that I got that sounded like a little girl that asked me that question was that was what was really odd, was it sounded like a little girl, like my daughter's age little girl, asking, "Are you a demonologist?" And I said no.
Why would she even know that word?
I don't know. Well, I said,
why
no,
would a kid know that word?
I'm not. I said, but I could try to help you, and they said, okay, thanks, and hung up.
Why didn't you tell me about that, dude? Really?
I think we talked about this already.
I know you told me.
No, we haven't discussed that one.
It was real weird.
But we need to.
It was really weird, and that number disappeared out of my phone too.
That's abnormal. That would not happen if it was a
one
kid.
time when I was living at the apartment, though, I was sitting there, and my daughter had this it was like one of those if you buy those little baby dolls and they have the little carrier thing that go in. It was sitting. It was sitting on one of her little. She had like a what do you call those? It's like right here, and I can't think of it. A table that has like the lights in it, like one of those like.
Oh, like a vanity.
Yeah, that's what it was.
A vanity table,
Yeah, but it was just a toy, And she had that sitting there, and that was on top of it, on like the table part, and it started rocking back and forth. And when I looked and saw it, I was like, "What?" And it stopped. Like it was like stopped, like something grabbed it to stop it. And another time I saw this bright white flash in the living room when I was in the kitchen. No lights were on in the whole apartment besides what was in the kitchen. I thought possibly someone had pulled up outside. You know, it's an apartment complex, so I figured someone had possibly like pulled up, you know, but it was way too
headlights.
bright. And I had curtains that were blackout curtains, so there shouldn't have been any light coming through like that. And then another time I was actually getting ready for an investigation, and I was making sure everything was charged and batteries and everything was there. And I walked into my room where a lot of the stuff was, where I had a bunch of the cases. When I walked in there, there was a whisper in my ear, and it said, "Die." And I totally tripped on it. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
I was worried about you in that apartment, actually. I was worried about you over there. I thought there was something trying to attach or definitely harass you there.
Attack, yeah.
Well, and then
I know you were getting attacked.
An attack, yeah.
We had these neighbors that lived upstairs, and they moved out, and then the apartment was vacant for a little while. And then one night I was hearing it sound like people running around up there, so I went outside and I was like, "Well, I don't know. Did someone move in?" I just didn't realize it. I went out and looked. All the blinds are raised in there and everything, and well, they were all taken off the windows. There weren't any, and so you could just see in the apartment from the street lights shining in. And it's all dark in there, and there was no one up there.
Yep. You were being attacked, I know for sure.
Really
there.
Weird.
It was weird. You had some bad, oppressive stuff going.
That's what I said. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
There was stuff going on with him. So.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a part of it. That's a danger. You know.
That's one of the very real dangers of what we do, and what we do has dangers in it. And I think once, I'm not saying that we see things that aren't there. I think that we have freed our mind enough that we are able to see things maybe others don't. If they're not looking for them, if they're not believing that they're out there. Because I've had people who have asked me also, "Well, how come I've never seen anything?" And I said, "Who's to say you haven't? Because there's a good possibility that you've seen something, but, and how many people do you know that's done this? That they hear something, or they even see something out of the corner of their eye, and they go, oh, I didn't see that. That was something else. Or they hear something, they go, oh, it must have been the wind, must have been this. Now, how do you know you haven't experienced something?"
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah. Oh. Well, we have freed our minds enough that when something happens, we know that it could have very well have been something.
And there's parts of the spiritual side of it that we're open to, and then there's parts that we don't want to be open to because we know it's negative. And if you're in a situation, you're trying to discern which kind it is if something unusual happens, as to whether you're going to be open to it or not. So it can be kind of confusing, and it can be dangerous. It can be, but at the same time, it can be very reassuring and exciting.
And how many times too, guys, have we had people say, "Well, I really think that my place might be haunted, but I don't want to find out. I don't want y'all to come in because
they'll
make it worse."
Yeah, they'll either say, "I don't know for sure," or "I don't really want to know," or "I'm afraid to know," or a variation.
They know that something's going on, but
they think that it'll either go away or it'll get worse, or there's so many things they think if we come in and investigate. They kind of want to know, but then yet they really don't want to know because they're either scared of what's going to happen.
I think if they ignore it, it'll go away. Yeah, maybe.
Or it'll just keep on going because it's a family.
But they won't actually know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Ignoring
Yeah, I
it
know
doesn't
that.
make it any less real.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They think we're gonna come in, and if we do prove it, then they're gonna be scared, or we're gonna say uh, we don't find nothing, and all of a sudden,
And they're nuts.
How many how many people have had us come in because they want validation?
yeah,
I know this is going on. I don't want you all to think I'm crazy. I mean, I got a call earlier this evening, and I won't go in depth about it. I'll just say I got a call, and the woman said, "I'm calling you because I know you, and you and I are friends, and so I know you won't think I'm crazy because I know this sounds crazy."
Mm-hmm.
And then goes into it and then asks me, "Do you think I'm crazy?" No, I don't think you're crazy. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we get that a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
They want validation a lot of times. Just tell me that you see, hear, feel what I see, hear, feel. So,
Right.
we've
And that's
had
important.
some really weird stories come to us, and we don't just say, "Oh, you're crazy."
well, there's a time or two.
Yeah,
we
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 won't
have had
mention.
we have had our own share of very weird things where one in particular, and I won't even say the area that it was in. Sarah, I don't think you were there. I think it was pre-Sarah years, but
Okay.
guys, you remember the night that we packed up in about 10 minutes? I think it was record time, and got out of that place.
Oh, I'll say is Rush Springs.
Thanks, Max. It
Because I
was.
told
It was
everyone, I said, we need to get
out.
this
We're
out, and we
getting.
need to go
Yeah.
like now. And
Did we
got
lose Sarah?
everything packed and left. Yeah, she disappeared.
And and the thing is with that one, guys, I really do think there was some stuff going on that they had going on, but whenever the guy kind of flaked on us, that was enough. We were out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, the last thing was doppelganger. Um,
A doppelganger, huh?
they say they don't really explain it, but the
hey,
example is the woman victim was sitting on a street corner and with her in her peripheral vision saw the image of herself on a bus. The image of herself was staring back at her. 1 week later, she again faced her doppelganger in a crowded mall. It stared at her and seemed to disappear amongst the massive people. It wore the same clothes that she wore. 1 week later, she was diagnosed with cancer. Uh, the doppelganger haunting activity is considered the evil twin, the harbinger of misfortune, the omen of death. In most cases, the victim of this haunting activity is in danger of her or his immediate surroundings, the family, or in some cases, the victim themselves are in grave danger of illness or death. But it's extremely rare to have that kind of haunting. That's the last one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have never heard of anybody seeing themselves.
I've seen it on TV, but
Yeah,
I've never in our realm or our line of work, I've not heard
What, a
anybody
doppelganger?
personally. Yeah,
yeah.
No, I've heard about it. Obviously, they say if you see your doppelganger, then it means you're gonna die.
I never heard about it. Uh,
No.
so obviously, none of us have seen our doppelganger, so we're no
Yeah.
danger.
No. We're good.
well, we don't think so anyway.
So, what's the next topic we got?
Well, do you want to go into the questions that we could ask?
Yeah, let's do that real quick.
All right. Of course, it all depends on what kind of haunting or what kind of stuff is going on. But some generic ones is there anyone here who wishes to speak with us? And then, what is your name? How old are you? Why are you